Hello. I wasn't sure how to make one of these videos and what kind of video I wanted to make because there's a billion of them out there, but I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in there. So, hey, if you're a new Switch owner, you just got your Switch for Christmas, awesome, congrats, you're gonna have a great time with it. I love my Switch. But you may be a little overwhelmed because there's a lot of games on the Switch now. So, I'm gonna give you a little bit of guidance, a little bit of direction here with this video. Now, granted, these are things that I think, these are my opinion on games that I think that you'd really enjoy. And I tried to give a kind of broad, a good array of types of games, genres of games. I've also grouped them into four different categories technically. The bigger games, the big ticket items, the $50 to $60 games, the mid ticket items, the $25 to $50 games, the low ticket items, which are less than $25, and then the free games. Now, all of these, it's not a matter of quality. I think these are all quality games. It's just a matter of pricing. So, let's get right into it. These games, these big ticket items, these are like the essentials I think that every Switch owner should have. Now, there are some others that I like actually a lot, but I don't know if I would consider them must-buys on the Switch and that they would appeal to everybody. So the first game on the big ticket items I want to cover is Super Mario Odyssey. This game is freaking fantastic. It's a 3D platforming game, but honestly, it's for everybody, even if you don't really like platformers. It is so good. It's got charm, it's got character, it's got variety, the environments are so different and so great, and it just basically throws you into an area and says, all right, have fun, go find some moons, go find some coins, go find some stuff, and it is just a must-have. Next up on my list is, of course, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This game, oh gosh, I think it's still my favorite on the Switch. I remember playing this for the first time in handheld mode and even just on the TV, and it just blew me away. The sense of exploration just compels you to keep moving forward. It's such a drastic change for the Zelda series. It's so different. It's visually great. This is a staple, must have, and you're going to get a lot of mileage out of this game. Next up, we've got the ultimate party game, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I mean, this is a fighting game for everybody. This is for the casual player, the one that doesn't really like fighting, and the hardcore, the pro players. But there's so much to do here. Whether you do it online or offline, there's a lot of content here. You can play World of Light as a single player. There's a lot of spirit board stuff to do. There's a lot of challenges, things like that. And then, of course, there's the online aspect that just keeps it going and going and going and going. And there's so many different characters to play as. It's awesome. Next up is Luigi's Mansion 3. Just came out this year in October, and man, it is so fun. There is an online aspect, and it is really fun, but this is much more of a single-player experience, or a two-player local experience. I played the entire game with my son. It's fantastic. It's great. Again, a lot of charm, a lot of character. It's very goofy, very funny. It's got a lot of memorable moments. Visually, it's stunning. It's just really fun to play, really fun to go through, a lot of variety in the level designs and the different floors. It is top-notch, definitely a must-have. Next up is Fire Emblem Three Houses. Now, this is a strategy RPG. The music is fantastic, the story is great, the characters are awesome, the gameplay is good. It's just a good all-around package, and you will get a lot of mileage out of this game. So this game is very story-driven, with battles in between, where it's like, think of like a board, game board, but you move people into different areas. They can go a certain amount of spaces. There are different weapons to use that each person has, different skills, different types of warriors, and then on top of that, there's a whole other section where you're at a school, and you're basically a teacher teaching students. It's really interesting. It sounds weird on paper, but it works very well. Next up, we have the ultimate platforming game, Mario Maker 2, or I should say never-ending platforming game. This is a game where you literally play other people's levels. Now, the cool thing is there is a story mode. It's fun. There are 100 levels that are custom-made by people, developers, and that's really, really good. You can create your own levels, obviously. You can play locally, which is really fun, or you can play online. And again, like Smash Bros. Ultimate and Luigi's Mansion 3, the online aspect, you have to have Nintendo Online for it. I mean, if you just want to play Mario games, just traditional 2D Mario platforming games, I mean, this is your never-ending game here. It just keeps going and going and going. Next up, we have another party game, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now, if you own this on the Wii U, well, I mean, maybe you don't want to get this one. I love it. It's great. It's good for everybody. It's a great party game, and it's just fun, you know, in the online aspect of it, which again, Nintendo Online. A lot of fun characters, a lot of fun tracks. Still waiting for more DLC on that, but we'll see what happens with that. If you never owned this, if you didn't own a Wii U, didn't own this on the Wii U, this is a must-have. You gotta get this game. It is great. Music's great, visually it's great, plays great. It's great. Alright, so you may notice that there's a little bit of an outfit change here. This was because I thought of a couple of other games that I wanted to add to this list after the fact that I don't know why I missed them the first time. So here we go. One of those games is The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt on the Switch, or The Switcher. First of all, if you haven't played this game, in some way, shape, or form, you gotta play this game, okay? Now, for me, being able to play this game in handheld mode is just magical. It's fantastic. It's so great to just lay in bed, play for 30 minutes, and then go to sleep, or just, you know, play longer if I want to. It is so good. This game is so rich in story, the environment is just so full of stuff, and it just feels like an actual world, and it is fantastic, it is great, and Saber Interactive did a great job getting this over on the Switch. Now, again, this is not a comprehensive list, this is just a quick list, a guide to get you going. This one may surprise you, Dragon Quest XI's. It is fantastic, and it did come out on, you know, another platform already, but the Switch version is so unique and so cool, and so many additions, the orchestrated music, a lot of quality of life additions that are great, 2D part aspect of it. There's a lot of gameplay here, the story is great, the characters are fantastic, they did a great job with this port, and it is just, it's top notch, highly, highly recommended. Alright, now we're into the mid-tier, the mid-ticket items, the $25 to $50 items, you know, depending. Usually these are kind of on the lower end of that spectrum, and they also go down in sales as well, so keep an eye out. The first up is Grid Autosport. Now, Grid Autosport is a racing game. It's somewhere in between, it's a racing simcade. It's more simulator, but it's very quick, which is my kind of thing. It's not full-on simulator, but they're realistic cars. It's kind of like a realistic driver. It's not an arcade like Need for Speed or something like that, but it gets you into races quickly, and there's a lot of content here. Now, this is a port from a game in 2014, but Feral Interactive did a fantastic job with this, with the options for visuals, for audio, for gameplay. I mean, you could use a GameCube controller with it, with the analog triggers. Online is coming for it. It is not out as of the making of this video, but it is coming. But there's so much content outside of online. I mean, I'm still playing it, and I'm nowhere near ending the full amount of the single player content. I've played it for a long time. It is very, very, very good. Highly recommended. Next up is a very spoopy game, and it just recently came out, and it has impressed me all across the board, and that is Alien Isolation. The game itself is great. It is terrifying. It is so stressful. The AI, it was known for the AI, for the alien, learning, adapting, and chasing you down. It really is a survival horror. It always feels like this thing is right there, right behind you. And that feeling of like, oh gosh, I gotta run, there's something right behind me. It's always there. It is great. The audio quality is great. The visual, the port, again, Feral Interactive, the people that did Grid Autosport, I'm really surprised by this game. It looks great in handheld and in docked mode, and it is just great. Put in a nice set of headphones and just go at it, and prepare to change your pants a few times. Next up, we have Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom. Now this may be a bit of a surprise, but it is a 2D action RPG, and that sounds interesting, and you know, you may be burnt out on 2D games. This is a game that is completely worth your time. It is so fun. It is so unique. The visual style, it looks like it's hand-drawn. The music is fantastic. There's a lot of mileage in this game, and it's just fun. You level up your character, you get new abilities that turn you into animals that each have their own unique ability that they can use. You just navigate this world, and the story is goofy. It's not, you know, anything groundbreaking, but it's goofy, fun, solid, and the characters are fun, and it's just a really solid RPG that's 2D. All right, and the other game that I somehow glossed over like a doofus, hence the outfit change again, is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Man, this game just blew me away when I first played it on the PS4, so much so that I bought it again on my Switch. So highly recommend it. Wear it with headphones, get some good headphones and play the game. It's great to see this thing on the Switch. They did an awesome job porting it over. It is a full single player game. I'd call it a single player experience because it's not something that you walk away from thinking, that was fun, but it's definitely something you're gonna wanna play. And last on this list, now again, not comprehensive, just a few to guide you along the way, is Cadence of Hyrule. This is a very unique game. Visual style is great, the music, the soundtrack is, ooh, it's so good, it's so good. So you move your character along to the beat that is playing in the game, and there are different, different area, overworld, songs going on, so they're different tempos, different time signatures, things like that. And the cool thing is you can turn it off and just literally just move across. So it's a semi-roguelike. It changes every time you go to play. So there's the same general areas, but they may change and things may be located in different spots, like key items, things like that. Really fun game, highly recommended. Okay, finally, if you're still with me here, I know this is a long video. We're in the less than $25 category. So the first up, Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is a 2D action platforming RPG. Basically, you have this giant map, you explore, you level up, you gain new abilities, you discover new areas, you take on bosses. This is one of my favorites the year that it came out on the Switch. Aesthetics of it, the environments, the way that it looks, again, that hand-drawn look, very, very, very solid game. Next up, we have another one of my all-time favorites on the Switch. That would be Celeste. Celeste is a 2D platforming game, just pure platforming, and it is difficult, but it is so good. The thing I love about it is that it's very encouraging. It's a you can do this, you can do this type of thing. So that you're like, well, okay, well, I kind of want to try again, even though I died 50 million times beforehand in this one section. But you climb, you're basically going up this mountain, and there's a story that's told that is actually pretty engrossing, and it's about mental health and about interactions with people and relationships with people. It's pretty darn good. I was legitimately surprised by the story aspect of it. It's tricky, but it is definitely worth it, and it feels very satisfying to get past those hard sections. Next up we have Cuphead. You can play locally with another player, or you can play by yourself. And it is hard. It is a very hard game, but again, much like Celeste, where when you beat it, when you complete a level, when you complete a boss, oh my gosh, it just feels so satisfying. It's so good. It is great to look at. The audio is fantastic. It's basically a boss rush game with some levels thrown throughout. Gosh, it's so creative. It is so fun. It is very difficult, but it's super rewarding when you beat those bosses and you complete those things. And last on this list, really surprised me when I finally played it on Switch. It came out on Xbox originally, and that is Ori and the Blind Forest. The story, I might have gotten a little misty-eyed at the end of the game. It legitimately got me. It was a very touching story, and the visuals are great. It's a Metroidvania. You have a map. You go all over the place, you explore things, you get abilities, which means you can go back to other places and get more upgrades, more abilities, things like that. And the story itself is really captivating, honestly. And again, it's a very touching story. And it got me really hyped for the next game coming up, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. But again, another cheap game from Microsoft put on the Switch that is really top quality. And last but not least, we've got the Freebie Games. Now these games, you just fill out your library for absolutely free. You just have to have an SD card, which I do recommend getting. I found these games to be very good in the sense that you can play them and not have to buy anything and still have a lot of enjoyment with them. I know a lot of free-to-play games are very money driven, you know, buy this pack, buy this. And these do have that for sure, so keep that in mind. So the first up is Paladins. If you like Overwatch, if you like team-based shooters, this is your game. Now, in some ways, I actually kind of prefer Paladins to Overwatch, but very solid game, no story. I mean, there's just, you know, a bunch of unique characters that have their own unique style and their own unique look, and you team up with other people, try to get the best team and work together and win. And there are different things like capturing the points, pushing payloads, and so on and so forth. So really, really solid free game. Next up is Smite. So think of League of Legends, but from a third-person perspective. Now, I could never really get into League of Legends for whatever reason. It's not a bad game, I just couldn't get into it. Smite, however, I actually like Smite, and I don't know if it's because it's the third-person view. It feels like it plays a little differently as well, but it's basically the same concept where you're trying to push to the other side, the opponent's side, and then destroy their statue, destroy their point of origin, you know, basically take them out. And they're trying to do the same, and so you have to be strategic with your team, you know, like covering the map and making sure to defend while also being on the offensive and all that fun stuff. So again, this is on other platforms as well. Finally made its way to Switch, and it kind of went under the radar. I didn't realize it was there until way later. It's pretty darn good. I really enjoy playing this game in handheld. Next we have Dauntless. I knew nothing about this game. I had only even just heard of it, I think like a few weeks before, or like maybe a month before, when it was like alluded to on this, like at a Switch sizzle reel, I think. It's basically free Monster Hunter, and I kind of like it. It's pretty fun. You battle, you team up with 3 other people online. They could be randoms or they can be friends. Team up, go take down a monster, collect a couple things, and you loot it and you bring it back and you create new gear. Now, the one big difference is that you don't go and navigate a world to get to these monsters and fight other monsters. It's kind of, smaller areas, and you do have to find the behemoth somewhere on the map, but it's a very finite map. It's not like a world that like Monster Hunter World, where you go and you navigate and there are different areas, and it's very addicting. It's very fun. Just hop in, take it out, let's go craft some more armor, level up, get some more stuff, and go do it again. Next up is a racing game, and I can't believe it. Now, earlier I talked about Grid Autosport, the Simcade. This is full-on arcade, and it is just plain fun. Visually, it's great to look at. You wouldn't think it's a free game. And that is Asphalt 9. Asphalt 9 is really fun. You can take out opponents. You're flying all over. You're jumping. You're taking people out in a slow-mo, like spinning your car around. It is just fun. It's fast action, very quick pace, quick levels, looks great, audio's great, really fun arcade racing game for absolutely free. Just download it on your Switch. Alright, and the last free game that I have to recommend for your brand new Switch is Warframe. Warframe is a third-person shooter where you are essentially a space ninja, and you go take on missions, you earn rewards, you can upgrade your suit, you can upgrade your abilities, you can upgrade your weaponry, and think of this as like a free version of Destiny. It's not quite the same, obviously, but you can team up with people, or you can go solo, and you go and take on missions across the universe as a Tenno, and you hack and slash your way through or shoot people in the face. Very mission-based, it's a looter shooter, and again, absolutely free. So there you have it. If you're still here, thank you for sitting through this very long video, and I appreciate you sitting through my, constant rambling, blah, 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 blah. Hopefully this is a good guide for you, get you going on the right track, to get you get yourself some games for your brand new Switch. And at the very bottom line of all this, enjoy your Switch. I hope whatever games you get, I hope it's a great time for you. Again, thank you for watching. Thanks for putting up with me talking so long. Have a great day. Take it easy.